Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today for our WineVine virtual tasting series. Today is our special Valentine's wine and chocolate pairing. So in case you didn't know, Friday is Valentine's Day, and we generally taste 3 wines. If you're new to joining us, we usually taste 3 wines from 3 different regions around the state, which we will do today, focusing on a different varietal. But however, today we're going to taste 3 dessert wines that are going to go awesome with your chocolates. So my name is Julie Purpura Hosbach, and I'm the Education and Services Manager at the New York Wine and Grape Foundation. I'm a certified SOM, WSET III, and Society of Wine Educators, certified specialist of wine, which basically means I'm just a huge wine nerd. And joining me today are some of my amazing colleagues, because you should definitely do this with your friends, guys, gals, whoever you want to taste with. So joining me here is Kim Hughes, our Finance Manager, Dan Alexander, our Operations Director, and fielding questions today, Amy Ellsworth, our Communications Coordinator. So we're going to have fun. We hope you'll do this too. Hopefully you got the tasting sheet I sent out. If you want to take notes, you're welcome to take notes along with us. If you have any comments, please put them in the comment section of the toolbar. It's much more fun when it's participative and you throw in what you think you see, smell, and taste. We'll still follow our same protocol of tasting and appreciating each of the wines. And at the end, or throughout, if you just can't wait, you can taste chocolate and figure out pairings, and we'll throw out some suggestions. As always, wine and chocolate is subjective, and everybody has different preferences, so there's no wrong or right. There are no such thing as any stupid questions. Just have a good time. We're having my 2 favorite food groups and a fruit and vegetable. I thought about it. Grapes and beans, chocolate and wine. I can't do any better. All right, so we're going to start today with actually the Pindar Vineyards 2014 Cabernet Port. So we already have ours here. And so, as I said, you always want to appreciate your wine first and then do the pairing. So let's go through our normal steps. So the first one is C. You always want to look against a white backdrop, preferably under excellent lighting, which you may or may not have, at a 45-degree angle. And, we want to evaluate, is it dead on ruby? Is it more ruby garnet? If you're joining us for the first time, the color of the wine can give us an indication of which grapes were used, as well as how old the wine is. So red wines tend to get more brickish, lightish brown color and as they age, and white wines tend to get more golden as they age. So that's just one clue. Thick-skinned grapes like Cabernet Sauv are going to have more intense color and Syrah, whereas Pinot Noir is going to be like a light watery color, or more a lighter version of red. So this is definitely garnet, and that's not a surprise because this is in 2014, so it definitely has some age. Another thing we want to check when we look at it is its clarity. So clear versus cloudy. Not that there's anything wrong with cloudy wines. They won't hurt you. It's a winemaker/owner's choice whether they go through all the clarification steps. But most wines you find on shelf are clear, and just because they're dark doesn't mean they're not clear. So if you actually hold your fingers up behind it, you can see your fingers through it. It is clear. If we're having a bubbly wine, you could check out the bubbles, but for now, we'll just go on to our step 2, which is smelling the wine. So this is really, really important because 85 to 90% of what we taste comes from our sense of smell, which is much stronger. So what do you smell? Everybody feel free to put in your comments. Amy will field them to us. And if you have any questions. So you get tons of intensity with dessert wines in general. So we should start with, there's many different kinds of dessert wines. Fortified is one classification. This is a fortified wine, so alcohol is added during fermentation. It stops the yeast from fermenting and leaves that residual sugar behind. So ports are a fun example, or fortified wines, sorry. We're only supposed to say port in Portugal. Fortified wines everywhere else. So what's really cool about fortified wines is when we taste it, they should have all the structural elements and like high examples. So it's going to have acid, tannins, sugar, and alcohol, kind of like an explosion of bombs. So you do get a big intense nose. Definitely get some, I want to say like plum, black cherry. Yeah. And then there's a sweet smell. So whether you pick up caramel or cocoa or vanilla, from the oak, it was definitely in an oak barrel. I definitely get lots of caramel.
I was going to say,
yeah, caramel molasses. my favorite Werther's butterscotch.
Mm.
And it's almost to me like red licorice, like that kind of berry fruit.
So I was gonna say
or
cranberry.
Tootsie Pop.
Is that weird?
No. It's lots of fruit, definitely a lot of different berries. Sometimes we smell earth or floral. I'm not getting a ton of that in this one. Maybe hints of tobacco. All right. Anything coming through, Amy? Nope. All right. Everybody go ahead and taste. Make sure when you take a sip, you rotate it around your entire mouth. Pay attention to acidity is like biting into a lemon. Your mouth waters, your jaw tenses, low, medium, or high. Tannins are that mouth drying texture. It's like a smooth coating around your teeth and tongues. It makes you want water, that natural reaction. That's tannins. Yeah. This should be, I haven't had it yet, but this should be a high example of a lot of those. And then of course we'll go through sweetness and alcohol. So go ahead and take another sip. You may have to go back to work, so feel free to feel free to just lightly sip.
A lot of alcohol.
This does have a lot of alcohol. Yes. So going through our structural elements, acidity, low, medium, and high in the world of wines. This is at least medium plus. I said it was definitely mouth-watering, jaw-tensing. I would definitely say medium plus acidity. Tannins, that mouth drying. Now, acidity and tannins are always like playing tug of war because one's mouth watering, one's mouth drying, and so of course they might like kind of make the other one seem a little muter. But this definitely had, I would say, medium plus tannins too. That like full, robust, smoothie, creamy texture. Great mouthfeel. So in the world of wines, dry is anything less than, according to the International Riesling Foundation, dry is anything less than 1% residual sugar, off dry is 1 to 2%, medium sweet is 2 to 4%, and anything above 4% is sweet. So this is definitely sweet, right? We taste sugar.
Yeah.
And it's actually 8.8% residual sugar, if you were looking to be accurate. So in that sweet category, we're gonna get even sweeter as we go through the rest of the wines. Remember, when you're doing wine tastings, it's always optimal if you can taste from dry to sweet, because if you taste something really sweet and then go back to dry, it makes it's kind of like brushing your teeth in orange juice, right? It just makes it taste awful. I know, that horrible mental image my mother gave me as a child. Teeth right after breakfast. Always try to taste from dry to sweet. And on the same note, that's why it's really generally great. I know everybody's always like chocolate and wine and all chocolate and wine go great together. Not exactly 100%. Certain wines go better with certain specific types of chocolate. But one wine and food, I would say guideline, not rule, but one wine and food pairing guideline you might want to follow. Generally, you want to keep your wines as sweet or sweeter than the food. So again, otherwise the food's going to overpower the wine and make it seem flabby enough. So Kim said, whoa, alcohol. So fortified wine definitely has alcohol. You can pick that up. So when we usually do this every month, I say, if you feel like your alcohol percent's maybe less than 10%, 8 to 10%, maybe you feel a warming sensation in your nose or not at all. If a wine has an alcohol percent between like 10 and 12.5%, usually you feel like a warming sensation in your throat. And if it's above 12.5, you usually feel a warming sensation in your chest. This wine, we could probably take our shirts off, is definitely a very warming sensation, our extra shirts, that is actually 20, I think it's, let's check it out. I'm pretty sure it is definitely above 14% alcohol. Fortified wines are in a higher class, so it is 19%. And it does say Cabernet Port, so this was made by Cabernet Sauvignon, in case you were wondering. So I'm going to go through and taste the rest of the wines. We're going to go through and taste the rest of the wines. At any point, if you want to try a chocolate with the wine, go for it. We're going to talk about ones that might go better. You can have your, generic little heart box of chocolates, come with assorted ones, but always taste the wine first, assess it, and then do your pairing. All right, so
what goes with this one?
So port, just like we smelled tons of caramel and nuts, port's always, you're gonna always want your candy that has nuts and caramel in it. So this one I would definitely try. I think we got a nice little assortment of Caramels, if you want to try the circle ones, are caramels.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yep.
So caramel adds like a fun salinity note too, as well. And so would sea salt. So my favorite candy is dark chocolate with sea salt, and salt also acts as, well, acidity acts as a conductor of flavors and just highlights salt really beautiful. All of these probably would have been delicious chocolate with sea salts. If you like me and love just plain dark chocolate, that would also go well. But whenever I talk about pouring desserts, yeah, so take a bite, take a sip of your wine. I promise it's delicious. If you love Snickers, that would probably be it's like everything, chocolate, nuts, caramel, as port is acid, tannins, flavor bomb. So yeah, I always say fortified wines are like a flavor bomb. Really well done, really beautiful, balanced, all the structural elements. And if you need a little boost of positivity, Dove always has a nice little inspirational quote. When life isn't going right, go left. That's my tip of the day.
All right, good to know.
All right, so moving on, we're gonna go backwards in the tasting sheet. We're gonna go from the port to the maple. If you're at home doing this, and it's at night or evening or when you're not working, feel free to enjoy all of your chocolate with your wine, but some of us, as we said, have to go back to work. Oh, I'm so sad not to have it all. It would be ideal to rinse a teeny bit if we could have just a little bit of water. Thank you so much, Amy. Because we're going from a darker to a lighter color, it'll just help us evaluate it a little bit better.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, and so Pindar Estates is located, we started with Pindar 2014 port, which is located on the North Fork of Long Island. So they also have, of all the New York State regions, a little bit warmer climate. And so they do grow lots of red vinifera down there. All right, so Kim, if you could assist with our maple wine. Our next wine is Johnson Estate, which is from the Lake Erie region. Thank you. Not only is this a nice and unique dessert wine, so it's actually from Vidal Blanc grapes. Made into a wine and then neutralized, and maple flavoring is added. So Johnson Estate, as I said, is located in Lake Erie. It's a very long producing family owned winery. And they also have these beautiful, gorgeous glass bottles with a glass topper. I will emphasize, because some people haven't seen it, and it's, for us moms on the run, this is the bomb, really, because it just pulls out, no corkscrew needed, and you pop it back in for whenever you want it if you're not finishing it all in one night. Nice. All right, so this is definitely, it's a unique classification. It's more like heavy pour over there.
I feel like I'm
that's all right.
All night.
You want me to add more to my glass?
That's all right.
So this
I'm not drinking it all.
This is a very amber colored wine. Does it say that we have, it doesn't say a vintage on it, but again, it has the maple flavoring added, so it's a white wine with, I don't know if that impacted the color at all, but it's definitely clear and see-through. Let's give it a smell. I smell it. It's so tempting.
Yeah.
The nose is so beautiful.
Like, wow.
So back to as you're smelling, and we're giving people a chance to comment, back to the different types of dessert wines. So there's fortified wines where alcohol is added, and that's your category of ports and sherries, Madeiras, Marsalas. Those are all fortified wines, which can be a type of dessert wine. Now we have ones, the maple wine would be an example of one that has flavoring added. You might see chocolate wine, maple wine, fruit flavored wines. What? No way. I have not seen peanut butter wine.
And I tried peanut butter wine.
Okay, well, I'll add that to my search off list. But anyway, so you can have ones with flavorings that are added. We're going to get to an ice wine where grapes are frozen on the vine, and then they have so much, when they're pressed, the water goes out, and they have such a sugar accumulation that they are very, very sweet. They're like liquid honey, so we'll get to that next. And then there's also late harvest wines, which are left on not as long as ice wines, but left on the vine longer to ripen. And so again, they have a higher sugar content. which makes them sweeter. So there's many different types. There's actually a method called the Piscino method where they dry the grapes out. It's an Italian method, but done across the world. And so then the grapes are like raisins. And again, they're concentrated in sugar. And they either produce high alcohol ones or sweet wines, depending on how long the yeast ferments. So what do we smell, ladies?
Well, besides
Maple.
Besides maple.
I kind of smell apricot.
Yes, I totally do too.
Oh, you are right.
Dried apricot.
Yeah.
Dried apricot, for sure. And sometimes
Really nice.
we didn't comment on the port, but often with ports I get like fig or date.
Yeah. Yep. Maybe that's what I meant instead of cranberry. Sometimes
You
it's
probably
hard
could
to
have
like.
gotten
Yeah.
both though too.
It is.
Interesting. I've never had anything
Almost,
like
and
it.
there almost is like, I just feel like a hint of, I don't know if I'm imagining it, but like that you're outside street, you know what I mean? Like I picture that I'm outside maybe like in March next to sap tree, you know what I mean? Like that just outdoors,
yeah.
fresh
Yeah.
smell.
Yeah.
All right.
Really nice.
It almost has like a hint of baking spices too.
Oh, kind of like pumpkin pie.
Yeah. Exactly. Maybe I'm just imagining it because that's what I'm imagining having with this right now.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, so let's give it a taste. If you're not a chocolate lover, something we didn't get that would probably be awesome with this wine are those maple sugar candies. Can you
Oh,
imagine?
right.
We should get those for
I know where
Santa.
we can get that. I know where we can get
I was
that.
gonna
It'll be
say
our next venture. We'll have to save this for next.
we will. This is really nice. I've never had anything like it. I can honestly
It
say I
feels
haven't.
like honey.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you take a spoonful of honey.
But almost like when you have hot tea with honey where it tastes just right. It's not too much of anything.
Mm-hmm.
This is just right. It's not too much of anything. I really like it.
Beautiful. Yeah, very smooth. So we didn't talk about one structural element we didn't talk about in the fortified wine was the body. So the weight on your tongue, is it like skim milk, 1-2% or whole? And that was definitely a full body. Remember we said it was like a flavor bomb.
Yep.
Generally, alcohol and sugar are the things that drive a body. So when we have high of both, generally talking about a full bodied wine, and all of these, I would have guessed going into them, are going to be full bodied wines. But this maple one is definitely also, so you get that lush, rich, sweet texture. So it is definitely a sweet wine. And it's actually, when we talk about anything above 5%, the last one was 8.8. This is 14% residual sugar. So
Wow.
we've taken a step up that ladder, yeah. But definitely smooth, lush. Where does that come to mind? Body, acidity, that mouth-watering, like biting into a lemon, low, medium, or high. Clearly wasn't as much as the first one, but it's definitely still there.
Yeah.
And a great way to think about acidity, sometimes with sweet wines, we think that they don't have acidity, but especially with, I think when we get to the ice wine, there's going to be high acidity. It's like lemons and lemonade. So lemons are high acidity. And then when we have lemonade, we're like, oh, the acidity is not there, but it is. It's just, we put a lot of sugar in to balance it out. So this does still have at least the medium
All about
acidity.
balance.
Yes, exactly. We don't really get that mouth drying texture. I don't think there's any
No.
tannins that's made from a white wine. Typically, we only get tannins with red wines and or heavy oak. So, and what do you think about that warming sensation? Would you say your nose, throat, chest? Where are you feeling a warming? If you had to guess the alcohol content, would you say?
Maybe just in the throat
I
a
was going to
little.
say I just wrote, definitely not the chest.
I think it is still pretty high, though. I actually still think it's a chest wine.
Uh-oh.
I think. Oh my God, it's actually 21% according to the bottle. You try.
Oh,
Somebody else's
yes,
eyes look on that, but
yes,
yeah.
21%.
Seasoned tasters, so
I guess. I am pleasantly surprised.
yeah.
So-
I didn't know how I felt about a maple flavored wine. And
It's
I
nice.
really, it's
Yeah.
nice.
So this I think would be great, obviously, with something, if you love maple, pair it with a maple-filled chocolate candy or caramel-filled chocolate candy like we just had. If you were going with something basic, a milk chocolate's probably going to be better than a dark chocolate with this one because milk chocolate's sweeter and has a little bit more cream components to it that's going to balance out the more lush. Yeah, so these are milks. I don't know if we have any more milk in here. I got a lot of dark because that's my favorite. There is a cocoa truffle in here that would probably, it's a heart. Would you like, anybody like the heart?
Let's try the
Amy?
milk chocolate one.
But yeah, milk with this for sure. I almost feel like peanut butter with the maple would be good too. Almost like a peanut butter and jelly, but dessert. But not jelly, but maple. Think of the 3 wines we're having. If you love Reese's Pieces or something like that, that would be good for this. I'm trying to think of other favorite. Heath. You love Heath bars. I feel like that would be awesome.
That'd be really good.
That would be amazing.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah,
really
it's a different experience with the chocolate.
Totally.
Yes.
You get, I mean,
It's like
they
the
just
next
like,
level.
because that's the structural elements at play. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's like magic.
Maybe we're not going back to work.
She's the boss. So we'll just keep
going.
Yeah, we'll just keep going. So another beautiful example of a dessert wine that would be great with many different desserts. Another thing I wanted to talk about in case, because it's, you know, the classic Valentine's specialty that I should have made for my colleagues but failed, is chocolate covered strawberries, right? So what to have with your chocolate covered strawberries? Rosé. Bubbles. Rosé bubbly. Pink bubbles is what I'm trying to say. I really am spitting, but if you have especially like an Italian bruschetto or something that is a red or pink based bubbly, and especially if it has a little residual sweetness to it, that will be good with the chocolate strawberries because it'll, you know, enhance the fruit flavors, but also be sweet enough to go with the chocolate.
So a bubbly cassava.
Yeah. Yes. I think that would be great.
Whoa,
Yes.
got one of those.
Kim, would you do the honor of pouring us our
Sure.
ice wine, please? So we're really excited to share our ice wine is Vineyard View's 2017. Yeah, I'll just, Vineyard View's 2017 Riesling Ice, which won our best dessert wine of all almost 900 wines submitted at our 2019 New York Wine Classic. So we're really excited to feature this wine. This was made in the Finger Lakes region, actually on Toluca Lake, right down the road actually from our current location. And as I said, it's Riesling, so ice wine can be made just like our fortified wine, ice wine, or flavored wine. Any of these dessert wines can be made from any grape. Characteristically, we tend to see some more commonly used for certain styles, but it's up to the winemaker and the winery and the owner on what they produce. So looking at this, we get a very golden color. It's got a couple of years of age, but generally ice wines have a more concentrated color than if this was just the 2017 Riesling that they produced. You can't help yourself, can you, with that smell?
I cannot.
It is also clear for those of us that are still looking.
Ooh,
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
smells so good.
So I definitely get honey.
I love the color.
Yeah, it is. It's like, I always say ice wines are like liquid honey. They
Yes.
smell like honey.
Yes.
They look like honey. They taste like honey often. But here I get like an orange marmalade-y
Yes.
character going on too.
Yes.
And I still get some of that stone fruit, like
Yes,
peach.
I was going to say that too, the stone fruit.
Citrus.
There's definitely some citrus there too, sweet citrus, like orange.
Mhm.
That's what
Yeah.
orange. I get like an orange jam.
Yeah.
Even a little bit of pear. I mean, it's very fruit forward. This one of all three has by far the most fruit bouquet going on. I agree. I almost get like an herbal character with the honey too. Like it's almost borderline like lemongrass. You know, when you said citrus,
Yes.
there's just like a hint of an herbal character more than floral. All right, let's taste it. We should cheers.
Yes.
Yay,
Cheers to awesome coworkers.
Cheers to Vineyard View.
All of our, 2019 classic winners. I can't believe it's.
Oh. This could be trouble.
This could be trouble. Wow. It really is. It hits the back of your tongue.
But do you get like, it's almost like Sour Patch Kids are one of my favorite candies. Like, you know, the acidity is
Yeah,
there.
right
It gives
here.
you that bright citrus.
Yeah.
But then it's followed up on the palate with just sweet, luscious deliciousness. Yeah. So this is definitely a sweet wine. If you're looking for the exact percentage, it's 18.5% residual sugar. So we've gone up a little bit sweeter. Acidity, It's still like highest. I mean, it is still, if we didn't have the sugar, Riesling is characteristically high acid. This has still got high bracing acidity. It's just got a lot of sugar there to balance it out. We're not going to talk about tannins because it's a white wine and it doesn't have oak. So we don't get that mouth drying coating of like a textural coating, mouth drying character. So we don't have that. And then the body of this one, again, is full, you know, it's like cream. Full, it's really like honey. I think it's even more than cream. Full, luscious body. And alcohol content on this one, definitely not nearly as much as the other two, right? I'm not really feeling the warming sensation on this one. Maybe we should have started with this one. This one is 10. 10.
Wow.
So this was harvested December 13th, 2017. Again, winter time. Ice wines vary from exactly when they're picked because it's based on when the grapes are frozen for a certain number of days. So it could be anywhere, December, January, February, hopefully not November. But here, you never know. Was it this year? I can't remember. It was last year. I think we had a really cold November. I think it was a little earlier last year. So this one, I would recommend trying because we had so much fruit in the bouquet. We have some fruit-filled strawberry and orange-filled chocolates if you want to give them a try.
I like the dark chocolate.
Okay. This one would definitely be good with that sea salt character because that would just be another, you'd like chocolate-covered pretzels, you know, the salt and the chocolate.
I got the orange.
Which I think probably is going to be more fitting than the strawberry because we got those orange and orange fruits. So definitely your fruit-filled chocolates, if you're a fan of those. As I said, sea salt. I'm trying to think of other candies. If you do love, if you're not a chocolate lover and you love Sour Patch Kids or lemon candies, you know, like those would all be really fun with this wine, I think. And if you were having just some other dessert, like a creme brulee, I feel like maybe a little bit of fruit on the side, just for go. I would not do this one as much with just straight chocolate. I was just about to do another bite of my dark chocolate, and I'm like, this one definitely warrants itself to something a little bit fruitier, lighter.
Yeah.
Do they make honey chocolate? I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a
Yeah,
candy
look
bar
at
that
it.
has honey and chocolate.
Bit of honey, those little bit of honey chews that you can get. Or maybe maybe I'm too old.
Or maybe
Little.
you're not too
Little,
old.
were they Mary Jane's or like the little? They were little.
Or maybe just a straight caramel, too.
Yeah.
Like just a caramel, I think would be really.
Like the Werther's.
Yes, my favorite. Oh my God, I just can imagine myself. Like, oh, my two favorite, chocolate and wine, but yeah, Werther's and wine would be good too. There's one other candy I was just thinking of. I guess your toffee-based candies might work really nicely with this wine. Or any other desserts that are just laced with honey and fruit would probably be really good. Or orange-based. Creamsicle, an orange creamsicle. Ooh, maybe it would be good with this. So does anybody have any questions, comments, thoughts? Again, have fun with this. There are no rules. There's so many fun activities you can try with chocolate and wine. It's all about what you like best, whether you like white chocolate, dark chocolate, milk chocolate, no chocolate, which I can't imagine. You know, find the candies that you love and work for you. I did want to talk about dry wine. So if you really want to do your chocolate and wine pairing, you know, we always see red wine with chocolate. So if you're going to go that route, definitely get a high tannic, full bodied, very dry, you know, Cab Sauv or Syrah, Shiraz or Malbec, like something that has those really bitter phenolics, and then make sure you get a very dark chocolate, dark chocolate, because you want a lower sugar level and something that has those same bitter, you know, antioxidants and phenolics and compounds that are really gonna mesh well. The high tannin levels will help complement the creamy fattiness of the chocolate. So that it'll be a really awesome textural pairing as well.
Nice.
Yeah, maybe like a chocolate cream dark chocolate cream truffle or something would go really well with a dark red. Dry whites, more challenging.
Starburst.
Yeah, like a Riesling or Sauvignon Blanc with Starburst. I would still try them to maybe have just a little bit of residual sugar. But yeah, give them a try, have fun. Maybe white chocolate, but I still think that would be a little sweet. But again, have fun with it. There's no right or wrong rules. Generally, you want to keep your wine as sweet or sweeter than the candy or food you're having with it. But you know, it's a holiday. Have whatever you want with whatever you want. Amy, any other questions coming in?
Nope.
All right. So if you have any questions, you can email me at any time. Amy, do you mind throwing my email and phone in the chat bar because it'll save for everybody? Please. And if you want any more information, feel free to email me. We will be posting this on our YouTube channel, so you can do this with your friends or significant others or whomever you want to have fun with. And our next wine tasting is February 28th. We are going to be doing Syrah Shiraz. So sign up today. And thanks for joining me, ladies. Have a great, happy Valentine's Day.
Cheers.
Cheers. Happy Valentine's Day.
Definitely taking the next shot.